It's definitely recording now because I just want to put on video that Rick, we've already done this, and I've already said some like really profound things about social work, and Rick forgot to record them. So.
Or where do you start with social work?
I can tell you what social work isn't. So it's not all corduroy trousers, flowery dresses and flip-flops and sandals.
Social work is principally about helping people.
Social work is about addressing social challenges with people, really, be it housing or financial or maybe issues within relationships that they're facing.
Primarily it's about a care for
Yes.
people. It's about a warmth and a passion for supporting people to improve their well-being and to improve the quality of their lives.
So I think social work is kind of helping somebody through a tough time.
The main purpose of social work is really to promote human rights, promote social justice, challenge inequality and support vulnerable people to achieve their goals.
Our social workers help people to live better lives. Their work supports people to develop their skills and use their resources and those in their community to achieve their goals and resolve problems.
So for me, social work is about working in the community. The idea is to work with individuals, families, working with different professionals, because obviously from that's how we can understand what's going on in the community and what we need to be working with the service, how they need to be tailored.
I think for social work, we're living in an age where we've got an older population. We've got more numbers of people with very complex physical disabilities, mental health problems and learning disabilities. And it's helping those individuals to lead a really empowering life.
Social workers are there doing really amazing things to protect people's human rights, to help them with really major decisions at the end of their life, or people with disabilities, that you're actually giving them the opportunity to do things, education, where they live, friendships, all aspects of life.
The importance of our profession is we're trying to elevate people. We're trying to bring them on to a place where they can, fulfill themselves as human beings. And I think that does sound a little bit hokey and it does sound a little bit idealistic. But that, for me, I think is probably the reason why we all ultimately got into it, because we want to assist people. We want to help them move on with their lives.
Human relationships are important to everybody.
Having a human relationship is about not being an expert and not coming as a kind of figure of authority, but it's about establishing a partnership with the other person and getting alongside them.
One of the most important things that we are as a profession, because we are all about the interaction and relationships with people and about understanding how it works together and how people interact together.
Because you're dealing with really personal aspects of people's lives, and people don't necessarily want to share that unless the relationship is there.
Human relationships are right at the heart of good social work practice.
When I first started the role, it was one of my biggest reflections that it's that balance between actually I'm going in and I'm giving you some really bad news, but I still need to have a relationship with you, and it's that balance between the two.
So the relationship
is just so key to an outcome.
Developing a rapport with service users is probably key to working with anybody.
It's that rapport building, putting people at ease. I often, I walk in and I'm sort of looking around the room and I'm sort of noticing photos or things often about gardens. I was like, I like your pollarded apple trees, and then they'll share with you that they used to be a market gardener, and you'll have a massive conversation about apple varieties, make a connection.
Sometimes there can be a bit of a power imbalance when we work with people. People might be at risk in some way, or they might be being oppressed in some way, or at risk of losing certain rights. So social work aims to really get to understand someone's situation, get to understand what matters to them, and get to understand people in the context of their families, their communities, their social networks. And to do that, you have to form a really close partnership, I suppose, a really close relationship in order to help them to move forward. And it's about doing things with someone, not doing things to someone.
I think it's about being able to listen to people in a moment and give them some time just to talk about their experiences and to sit with that. I think there's a time where you feel really valued by the people that you're with, just for giving that moment.
To have that kind of time and space in order to be able to form those kind of relationships with people is absolutely essential to good social work practice.
We have supervision, which is relationship-based, and has staff wellbeing and critical reflection as key principles.
There's a great deal of focus on the development of ongoing professional development with social workers. Social work conferences, training programs, really supportive supervision, all those things that social workers rely on a day-to-day basis.
I'd say it's a really supportive organisation to be part of.
Within North Somerset, it's a small enough organisation that actually you can have this contact all the way from being at the front line, all the way being up to an AD level or a service leader level. So it feels like in a way, a little bit of a family from that point of view, that you can actually have those kind of contacts.
One of the most important relationships that you'll have within social work is the supervisory relationship, the relationship between a line manager or a practice supervisor and a qualified social worker. And we've put a lot of work into revising the adult social care supervision policy and guidance, and that's just been launched at the moment.
We have a good culture of interagency working and sharing, really. I think there's a mental health social work forum, I'm thinking, so all the social workers across mental health services get together kind of every couple of months and have a discussion about what we stand for and what we want to be doing and what our ambition is.
We support each other. It's a very supportive network in North Somerset.
They look at all the aspects of our well-being as a social worker, as a practitioner in the team, not only just merely doing what we are supposed to. And they look at all the aspects of our own very life.
You get to know a lot of people within the council, so when you're trying to achieve things for people, you know who to ring, you've probably had face-to-face contact with them. There's really positive working relationships between the different teams and the different parts of the council.
I guess the social work conference is a kind of new thing, and that's a really good example of that too, that there are social workers across the council coming together. And it's often in those informal kind of networking conversations that you really see new ways of doing things. You get kind of new insight or inspiration about actually we could link with that team better and we could maybe use some of the resources that they bring.
I found North Somerset Council 2.5 years ago, and to be honest with you, I feel I found a little hidden gem, really.
There's so much happening at the moment that it's really difficult to choose.
I'm very interested in asset-based community development, so thinking about what a community asset is, how we understand it from people's perspective, because often we can kind of even impose our ideas about that. It's actually understanding from the people themselves what they value.
Also offer people different ways of assessing their needs. Not everybody wants a social worker or an occupational therapist to go to their home. So looking at the Motex Centre, where we're extending the opportunities for assessment, we're also extending that to Castlewood. So I think that's really exciting.
I think what North Somerset Council have done with looking at transitions is identified, actually there is a gap here. We do recognise people fall through the net, and let's find a way to manage that. So the team has started, it's formulated, and I'm really excited that this is going to be something that's going to offer people, young people entering into a transition and their families, the peace of mind and security that they are going to transition in North Somerset with good services around them and support.
Yeah, so I think the thing that's really attracted me to North Somerset is that they have a learning disability team, a social work learning disability team, which is quite unique locally. Most of the other local authorities, all of the adult care is generic, and I quite strongly believe that people deserve specialist social workers to really understand their situations.
We have so much training opportunities,
Yes.
like things like RIP Fair.
Yeah.
We just have to log in on CPD, book different training sessions. So that helps as well, because it's not just focusing on what we're doing on our day-to-day social works, it's mixing the professional side and the learning side of things, so that comes in all together in the end.
I'm excited about the vision that we've got in place at the moment.
I think it's really great that the focus of this year's Adults Social Work Conference is on co-production and building community capacity. It focuses on ways in which social workers can be more closely engaged with individuals and communities to develop community resources from the ground up.
Probably the thing I'm most excited about at the moment is the apprenticeship programme, the integrated social work degree apprenticeship, which North Somerset Council is a part of at the moment. We're about to send our first couple of adult social care workers who've been working for North Somerset Council for a really long time and give them the opportunity to go on and train and practice as social workers.
I like that North Somerset is investing in the social work role. There's a principal social worker, there's a good ASYE programme where people are really connected, there's a good culture of people talking to each other and shadowing different teams, there's an annual conference, so I think it's quite an exciting place to come in and be a social worker.
Improving our carers assessment service is really important in responding to carers' needs.
We've also got a lot of work to do around supporting carers, for example, and we are bringing the carer service back in-house in North Somerset, and some of those workers will be based in the single point of access. So for people who are caring, and bear in mind that a lot of carers also work full time, so that we can support them much, much more in their caring role.
That it's worth the commute.
Do it.
I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Go for it.
I think a thing I've really noticed about people in North Somerset is that they're very creative and passionate about what they do.
There's lots of really fantastic, passionate, dedicated social workers working for the local authority, and I would definitely recommend it as a place to come and work.
Anybody thinking coming to North Somerset, I would say, as a pretty newcomer myself, you're more than welcome in North Somerset. People here support you, you're trusted, you have autonomy. I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
And actually I've always felt listened to as well. So in team meetings right from the start, I felt confident to kind of share my own ideas, and they were actually valued. And I think that's really powerful, because you feel like from the start you can make a difference and actually, be part of North Somerset's vision and driving things forward.
I think for anybody thinking of coming to work for North Somerset, it's a very, very exciting time.
I think that it speaks volumes the fact that Liz and I both trained through the council, and she was saying it's been your sole employer, and mine also going back now more than 20 years. So I think that in itself speaks volumes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you can have an opportunity here as a social worker to make a bit of a difference and to feel like you could make a difference, because you're working in somewhere where your impact can feel very real.
North Somerset Council is quite a special place to be.
So if you're looking for a local authority where your strengths and aspirations will be recognised, where you'll have regular, reflective supervision and access to a range of professional development opportunities, and when you'll be given the freedom and autonomy to practice in a creative, rights-based and person-centred way, then North Somerset is definitely the place for you.